Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Oh, good morning to you. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my dog. This is Kiki. Say hello. Hi, Kiki. My name is Tiana, aka Tej, aka TJ, aka Lauralee Thornthwaite for the show. We have an all-day rehearsal. It is Sunday the 26th of July. It's also raining today, so we'll see what we can do. Originally, we were going to have a space, but with COVID happening, everything is subject to change. You will come on a journey with me to the production of the Thornthwaite Inheritance. So we're still about 2 months out. We have a SITS probe coming up, which is really exciting. One of my solo songs has just had the key change, so that's very exciting, but also something I need to practice. Probably listen to it a bit this morning. What is the Thornthwaite Inheritance, you might be asking? Well, it is this, but it is also this, which is a book that the whole show is based on. So as far as I know, Shaylee read this book many years ago, and she went, I like it, and she turned it into a musical, which is really cool. So with the help of Caleb, they also wrote the music, so I believe she wrote the lyrics and Caleb wrote the actual music. There might have been a bit of a collaboration during that process, which is cool. I've got to say, one of the tough things about still having rehearsals during COVID is the social distancing, because it is so tempting to be like, oh my god guys, I missed you, but no hugs. We can't hug. So yeah, it's alright. Lots of hand washing, lots of hand sanitizer, lots of just get away from it. We also have our headshots today, so this face will be a bit more glamorous today, and this hair will hopefully be a bit more glamorous as well, and we'll just hairspray it to high hell and hope that the weather doesn't destroy it. So I'm gonna have my cup of tea, and then I will catch you in the bathroom to make all this happen. Cheers. All right, we in the bathroom, and we are going to look prettier than I already am. It puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, speaking of horror or thriller, even though this show is dark, there's a lot of talk of murdering and solving murder mysteries, I wouldn't say that the show is in that genre, in that place. I still think it's family friendly, and there is plenty of moments of comedy, which I adore. I must say that I am jealous of Jack, who plays Ovid, because he has a lot more license to be a bit goofy, while my character is a bit more straight-laced and telling him off. So there have been lots of fun times in rehearsal, just improving. And it's improving things that will never make it into the show, but it's just fun to do. So today, I believe, is our first scripts down rehearsal. I think we're doing a full run. I'm not quite sure what the plan is, but we'll see when we get there. But I am exempt from having script down. But that being said, I do want to have it down for much as possible and just be prompted, because I think there's only a scene or two that I'm like, okay, no, I don't know what I'm saying most of the time. All right, I think I have all the supplies. So yes, as I was saying, with lines and whatnot, I believe I have the most lines of anyone in the show, which is an honor, but it is also a huge responsibility. And I don't want to let the team down or let myself down. If I don't know my lines, that's not a very good example. Not that I know if anyone's looking up to me, because I'm a bit goofy, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, I must admit though, it is awfully fun getting to be a sass queen in this show. I do a lot of admonishing, and because when I am not on the stage myself, I am usually teaching drama to teens and young chillins. So I guess I can draw from that. That being said, I am very much the fun teacher than the we're not gonna do anything because you're being naughty. So yeah, who knows? Maybe Lauralee will help me to be a better teacher in telling people off when it is deserved. And that's the thing. Even if you don't consciously realize it, every character you play, you learn something either about yourself or about others or humanity, whatever it may be. It can depend on the show. Like if it's just completely a silly show, you might not learn as much or like as deeply, but you're still gonna learn something. That's not something I've always thought. I'm just kind of like, yeah, acting's fun, whatever. But it's all a part of the process. And I remember being at drama school, we had just discussions about like, what is acting? What does that mean? When is it acting? When is it not acting? And I distinctly remember someone's like, it's just being really good at pretending, like just faking. And I'm like, in a way, yes. But the thing is, like, no matter what character you're playing, you have that in you. Being an actor is kind of being a psychologist for humanity. Because you need to be like, okay, where is this character coming from? And even if they do something completely deplorable or something you would never do, you have to find that emotion in yourself. So when I am getting angry, even though I'm not an overly angry person, those emotions still in me. And so it's just drawing on your own real emotions and channeling it into this scenario at the given time. I'm like, I'm not saying that's easy. I'm very good at pretending, like just putting on the face of whatever the character might be feeling, but actually the trick is into fooling yourself that you are this other person, that you are somewhere else, and that this is happening to you. Not that, oh, I'm just like on the outside observer, I'm like a conduit, which you are a conduit, but you need to be invested. And yeah, that can be such a struggle because I definitely see myself as a goofball. And it's nice that there is some really grounded emotional moments in the show to play with as well. There's this lovely duet Jack and I sing as the twins called Stranger I Never Knew. And oh, that song is a journey. And yeah, we've been getting a good response from castmates when they've listened, like they've gotten a bit emotional. So I'm like, nailed it. Yeah. So just going through like the feelings of like loss and just being a confusion and like grief, but not letting yourself grieve. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. It's just one of those things that I just get really upset when over and over again the arts just gets funding cut and cut and cut, and I hear people just really disrespecting the arts as like, oh, it's not important, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, look, if actually like being creative and doing artistic things isn't your thing, you still cannot write it off, because you would not have Netflix, you would not have your clothes, you would not have anything without art. I believe it's a quote in Dead Poets Society, it might not be, but Robin Williams is like, yes, like medicine, science, all engineering, these are all important for life, but art is what makes us want to live. So even like looking back at during like the world wars and the depression, any time, that was such a big time for art, because it gave people something to take their mind off or like to fight for. Like, look, Marilyn Monroe entertaining the troops. You know, they didn't need that, but sure as hell helped, didn't it? And there was a big boom in the theatre. We had the golden age of musical theatre after World War II, I believe. And sharp. So yeah, I might start warming up while I'm getting ready. I don't know how much singing we're doing today, and I'm sure we'll do one together, but still got a bit of morning voice going on. song. Haha. My mother makes me mash my mini M&Ms on a Monday morning. Not that anyone asked. In my experience, my tips for singing, don't push. Because I remember when I was about 16 years old, all I knew how to do was belt, and it sounded very shouty. And you could be loud without like, without hurting yourself. And one thing that's really helped me over the years is finding the different like resonators and like parts of your voice, and working on a lot of junior musicals. What I find a lot is when it gets high, that it gets very like hairy. My mother makes me mash my mini M&M. And I've found my best friend is my nasal twang. We do this little thing where we're like, nya, 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 nya. And while we don't want it to be quite that nasal, we want to kind of split the difference and meet it there. So rather than being like, the hills are alive. I mean, even that's okay, but that's like a softer. If I wanted to add the twang in there, I would be like, the hills are alive. Yeah, so did you hear that there on hills? So it wasn't like heels, but it was like hills are alive. Oh, one of the habits I have to work through so much is I like to talk at the speed of light sometimes, and then people can't understand what I am saying. So yeah, I think it's good having the British accent for that, because it kind of forces me to talk properly and use my mouth. It's very difficult to talk British very quickly. You kind of have to use your mouth a lot more than Australian. And despite being from a European background, being a proud wog, I revert to like a broken accent sometimes. Sometimes it's like for effect, like for comedy, because I'm like, but sometimes it just slips out and I'm like, yeah, no worries. G'day, how's it going? I must say, one of the things I enjoy about being lonely is that I'm playing a 16-year-old. So I'm playing someone nearly 8 years younger than I am. So I'm a bit like smug. It was one of those things because I've always been like little, like smaller than other people my age, and I would always like hate it. I hated it because I just felt like I was always a child, and I was like, no, I'm a real adult too, I promise. And everyone was like, oh, you'll like it when you're older, you'll like it when you're older. And I was like, that doesn't help me right now. But I like it for acting, because I get to do this. The only thing is, if it is playing someone in their 20s, I still look quite young. So it kind of, it's a double-edged sword. Ah, bloody hell. Got some mascara on me eyelid. Me and my baby and me. We're about as happy as babies can be. Nobody stop us, so don't even try. But yeah, see, there's a difference there. I really like doing like the brassy belt. Like whenever I'm seeing Cabaret or Chicago, I'm like, here we go. And all that jazz. Versus like, you know, and all that jazz. You know, it's good to have the different textures of sound, if you will. I think that's the thing about makeup as well. Like it's fun, and I feel like just a elevated version of myself, at least like physically. I feel like I'm like, look, I think I'm attractive either way, but I do feel particularly pretty when I have makeup on. But I think that's the thing as well, like it does make me look a bit older than at 12. So I enjoy that. But no, it's been a nice thing over the past few years, because I think I am starting to look my age. I have had small children guess my age on the first guess, which like never happens because they always guess too old or too young. They're like, you are 18, you are 37. Yeah, and on always being small, I was always like a skinny mini. And I still am like quite thin, but I have put on some weight, which like at first was like a what? Because puberty for me was like a very slow snail race where I was like, hello, I want to be tall, I want to look more like a woman, please. And so it's been one of those things that I'm like, my body has not changed this much ever in my life. I am confused and, you know, I had to like reassess my self-esteem. So it's still there. It's a little bit of a struggle. So if you're out there, love yourself. Love yourself. But yeah, so I feel like that has made me look a bit older as well because I'm less of a stink. I'm pretty sure I was underweight. I don't know. I think I was always just like such a picky eater as a kid and didn't have like much of an appetite. So I changed like a few years ago. Like before I would be like 2 slices of pizza, done. And then I got to like, I'll demolish a whole pizza, let's go. And now I think I found like a happy middle. But yeah, that was the first time in my life I'd actually grown out of clothes. I had hand-me-downs from my sister, or I had clothes from like 7 years ago that still fit. So that was a bit like a wow. So I went from being like, oh, I want to be able to grow into clothes, to being like, oh, this is different. We're just having some good chats. We're having some D&Ms about life and image and acting. What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Yeah, it doesn't help that I went to a karaoke party with Emily. She's in the cast. She plays my mother. I don't actually know how old she turned, but yes, we went out for karaoke. And because it's karaoke, I kind of thrashed my voice a bit. So, regrets, but it was fun. Bit by bit, little by little, that's not good enough. I'll catch you later.